Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Trambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanan mrutyurmukshiyamamrutat. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Trambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanan mrutyurmukshiyamamrutat. Om
Sahanavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviriyam Karavavahai Tejasvi Navadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shant Shant Shanti. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityo Mamrutangamaya. Om Shant Shant Shanti. Good morning. I remember I said in the last prayer meeting something about agriculture, right? Education and unemployment. Yeah. So most of you, I think, are from agricultural families. But today we have this big problem of soil health, restoring the soil health. You all have heard about this program, Save Soil, by Sadhguru of Isha Foundation. A massive ecological movement he has started, has just concluded. Desertification is happening at such an alarming pace that if we don't act now, we will not be able to produce sufficient food for all the people on the earth after 30 or 40 years. There will be acute food shortage. When there will be food shortage in the world, the civilizations will collapse. We are heading towards that disaster for sure, because the last 40, 50 years, we have degraded the soil. Soil actually has lost its vitality, its fertility. The depletion of soil have happened to such an extent that we will not be able to sustain the present production levels for sure. Last year, we could produce 314 million tons of food in this country. Will we be able to sustain this production? Definitely no. Why, you may ask. This production we could achieve by putting the soil infrastructure to a severe stress. By putting a lot of chemical fertilizers, we have achieved this. Because of excess use of chemical fertilizers in the last 4 or 5 decades, the soil has depleted. You know, soil is not an inert substance. Soil actually is a dynamic thing, is a dynamic ecosystem. There's full of life there. The billions and billions of bacteria constantly at work, at interaction with each other. When you put a seed, a crop plant comes, there will root will be there. There is an interaction between these roots of the plant and also the bacteria that is there in the soil. There is a constant exchange taking place. The bacteria supply actually the minerals to the plants, and plants in turn fix the carbon dioxide from the air by using photosynthesis and supply carbon to the bacteria. There is a symbiotic relationship, give and take is happening there. And these processes are so subtle. Even the greatest scientist in the world doesn't know more than 1% of what is happening there. But because, you know, in the last 40, 50 years, we have removed plows and we have started using tractors. When you tractors use, you know, you might have observed the huge discs they use to till the soil. Hmm? Traditionally, when you use bullocks, you plow only 6 inches or maximum 8 inches. By introducing tractors, we started tilling 14 inches, 15 inches sometimes. Because of the discs, actually, they cut earthworms to pieces. That we have not observed that. They're so sharp, it just cuts. And 14 inches, 16 inches, when you till the soil and when you bring all the underneath soil, the top, all the bacteria and all these microbes, they get exposed to sunlight and they die. That's how actually desertification has happened. Every second, 1 acre is getting converted into desert, arable agricultural land. In Africa, if you just see the Sahara, the sub-Saharan, this Sahara desert is expanding so fast, and that's the reason all the countries that are in the periphery of Sahara desert, they are facing starvation. Sudan, and you might have heard, and Ethiopia, and there are so many countries around that Sahara desert where there is acute shortage of food. Every year, United Nations is supplying around 10 to 15 billion dollars of food grains, collecting from the other international markets and supplying it. But how long they'll be able to sustain? They are all semi-starved now. A lot of food shortage is there. India actually the soil really richly very rich. God actually has gifted us with such rich soil, but we in our greed for more production we have depleted. So it is an immediate need of the hour. I'm just saying that these are all the problems which youth should take up. Mm. Youth should take up, and you should be able to generate employment out of this problem. Money is there, there's plenty of money in the society, but you should have the right cause. Take up this cause and generate awareness among farmers. Ask them to reduce the use of chemical fertilizers. Ask them to go more for organic fertilizer. For organic fertilizer means, for how we'll get it, you have to keep cattle on the farm. Okay? Cows and buffaloes are required. But farmers, they don't want to keep. They say that young people are not there in villages. We'll tend them, we'll take care of them. The next generation of farmers are not there. This is the big problem, the challenge that the country is facing, not just in this country, in so many other parts of the world also. It's a huge problem. Educated people, young people, youth are not coming to farming. And this is the last generation of farmers. The first generation of farmers, they don't want their children to do farming. Then who will do? After 15 years, 20 years, everybody is in towns and cities. Villages have become practically empty. दूध कहाँ से आता है? Food from where it will come? Vegetables from where they will come? Fruits from where they will come? City they will grow. Okay, if everybody leaves the village, let us say, hardly 10% of the youth are there in villages. You just go to any village in any part of this Telugu states I have seen, only small children are there, few, and old people are there. No young person, no educated person actually is staying in. 10th class pass means they are not staying in villages. So we have to take up these ecological issues, and agriculture is in a serious crisis. You know, farmers are committing suicide because the productivity levels have depleted, have come down. Productivity has come down because soil has depleted, and this is the need of the hour. If we don't do it now, okay, if you don't fix the soil problem now, our future generations will curse us because they will have to till the same soil and they will have to grow their food. They will say to us, our grandfathers, our grandparents, The generations which preceded us actually have overused the soil, have depleted the soil, and have passed on barren soil to us. They will curse us. మా తాత ముత్తాతలు శుభ్రంగా వాడేసుకొని నేలని పనికిరాని నేలని మాకు ఇచ్చారు అని మన తర్వాత తరాల వాళ్ళు 2 తరాలు 3 తరాల వాళ్ళు మనం తిట్టుకుంటారు మనల్ని మాది లాస్ట్ జనరేషన్ బికాజ్ యువర్ నాట్ నెక్స్ట్ జనరేషన్ యూ విల్ సీ దిస్ ఎకలాజికల్ ప్రాబ్లమ్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్ 30-40 years down the line. There's only 50-60 years of life left for the soil. It's such a major ecological issue. And in fact, you see, the magnitude of the problem is very high. Most of the governments have taken notice of it now. We have been treating soil as an inert substance, soil as a resource, but it's not a resource, it's a rich legacy. Okay, we have to pass it on to the next generation. Then the way we have got it from our forefathers. మన పూర్వీకులు ఇట్లా ఎక్కువ వాడేసుకొని కనుక పనికిరాని సాయిల్ మనకి ఇచ్చుంటే మనం ఇప్పుడు ఫుడ్ ప్రొడ్యూస్ చేసుకోగలిగే వాళ్ళం కాదు. వాళ్ళు చాలా జాగ్రత్తగా వాడారు దాన్ని, చాలా సాఫ్ట్గా దున్నారు, క్యాటిల్ వాడారు, ఆర్గానిక్ ఫర్టిలైజర్ వేశారు, కాబట్టి ఆ సాయిల్ మనకు అదే హెల్త్తో వచ్చింది కాబట్టి మనం వాడుకోగలుగుతున్నాం. బట్ వాట్ వీఆర్ డూయింగ్ యాక్చువల్లీ, గ్రీడ్ ఫర్ మోర్ ప్రొడక్షన్. We thought actually we are wise, but actually nature proves it that we are not that wise. So we have to restore the soil back to its normal health. That is the responsibility of the young people. Pass on this message and information to others. Actually share, have a debate and discussion. Try to understand the magnitude of the problem. Try to think what you can do. Okay. One thing we can do actually, we can generate awareness among farmers. Reduce the use of chemical fertilizer. Have cattle. Okay, that's important. Very, very important. If you remove cattle completely from the villages, and then the milk production will not be there, and we will not get milk, and also food also we will not get afterwards, because the soil will get completely depleted. These are all the problems young people should take up. At least a charcha, a discussion, a debate. Be aware of the problem, have an understanding about the magnitude of the problem, think what I can do. So something you will be able to do definitely. Don't underestimate your potential and capacities. Okay? Thank you. Nice day.